It's the middle of the night. It's like 3 in the morning right now. I'm sitting at my desk. So as I was getting a typewriter ready, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna do something different. As you see, I got the candle lit. I got the incense flowing. I got my Perry Mason right here. Anytime the enemy is under investigation, I gotta do my research. Oh yeah, this giant pencil. Now I got this pencil from the Detroit Institute of Arts. That's where that came from. I'm a master writer, so I get things like this. And you see this cup. Now this cup is from the Playboy Mansion in Chicago. Now the first one was in Chicago. This was before the one in Los Angeles. This was the original Playboy Mansion in Chicago, Hugh Hefner. Then got this bottle. I went to a BMF event a few years ago, and 50 Cent, he was there. And we got the kick, and he signed it for me. Yeah, so shout out to 50. But anyway, I was getting this typewriter ready. I was about to start typing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try something else. I'm going to do a different project. I'm actually doing a different project that's just like different. I'm going to do like a mixtape book. So let me tell y'all something, because y'all don't know. I turn down interviews all the time. I'm going to say like within the last 2 years, I done turned down a lot of interviews. So if you send me an interview request, I'm going to check out your platform. I'm going to do my homework. And if I don't see what I need to see, because I don't just hop on anybody's platform, especially if it's not in collaboration of what I do, I'm going to respectfully decline. That's what I'm going to do. Because like I said, I just don't collaborate with anybody. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to actually do a project. I'm going to just make a bunch of videos, but it's going to be like in a mixtape form. You know how it was back in the day, like how the mixtape was in these streets. Like, dudes, they have albums. The big labels that had these albums, but on the street, they had these mixtapes popping. So like, no, I'm gonna do a book, but it's gonna be like a mixtape book. So I'm gonna call this the mixtape. This is gonna be the mixtape book. So I'm gonna make a bunch of videos just talking about me being in the game. Me being in the game as a writer. I came into this game in 97. So I started creating in 87. It's like in first grade. So between first grade and like high school, like my junior year in high school, so that's like a 10-year span. From 87 to 97, that's a 10-year span. I was unconscious of my calling. At the time, I just looked at it as a hobby. Just pick up the pen and paper and start writing, start being creative, started doing freelance writing, started writing poetry. So I started doing that, I was unconscious of my calling. Then in 97, I became conscious of my calling. So what I thought was a hobby was actually my calling. It was my gift calling me. So I'm gonna say this is like when Pac album, what was that album? Machiavelli. When Machiavelli dropped, that was like a paradigm shift. And, the rest is history at that point. So But this project right here, the mixtape, I'm gonna talk about all those things, just me coming into the game from the city of Detroit. Being a writer from the city of Detroit is totally different because Detroit is not a market for writers, especially like creative writers. Writers like myself is in New York. Writers like myself is in Los Angeles. Those are bigger markets. Detroit is not really a market for writers. It's getting better, but historically, this is not the place for, creative writers. The biggest markets is like New York and Los Angeles. So just being a writer from the city of Detroit is a different experience. So with this video, I'm just gonna talk about the ups and downs, just being in this game. Just personal stories, personal things about myself, just some cool things, I'm gonna have some fun with this project. So I'm gonna just give y'all the inside scoop. You know how y'all be like, how they be like behind closed doors? Well, this right here is gonna be behind closed books. This is behind the closed books because I've pretty much been a closed book my whole career. So I like, you know what? I'm gonna crack open the books a little bit, just kick it. Cause I've been in this game for over 30 years. So, anybody that's up and coming, I could give y'all, some wisdom, just give y'all some game about being in this game. Just give y'all some wisdom, But this is just me telling my story in the form of a mixtape. So like I said, I was getting a typewriter set up. Sometimes I will hop on a typewriter. Sometimes I'll hop on a laptop. Sometimes I'll use my phone. Other times I'll pull out the pen and paper and just start creating. So this is one of those nights, I'm gonna pull out this typewriter and get to typing. But at the last minute, I just had this revelation in my head, like, no, you can do something different. So this project is called The Mixtape. So hope y'all enjoy it. I'm about to drop some gems. It's gonna be over 2 hours. Y'all gonna get over 2 hours of King Loso, El Loso. Y'all gonna get over 2 hours, so this is rare.